Welcome back to BT Vancouver. It is just after 8:12. The number of victims following the weekend's deadly rampage in Nova Scotia is now up to 22. Police are still reviewing 16 crime scenes. They aren't ruling out the possibility the death toll could rise. The investigation is expected to take months. Now police are looking into whether the gunman may have had help. Today, many in the affected communities are asking why a public emergency alert was never issued. Because of the COVID outbreak, no public events are planned. An online vigil is set for Friday.
Part of the grieving process is the ability to mourn as a family with friends and community. We have to find a different way to be able to do that. We saw what happened in Newfoundland when funerals were held and someone carrying the virus was attending. It spread through them. So we have to adhere to the advice of public health.
A look at the numbers across Canada now. There are 38,400 cases of COVID-19. Over 13,000 people have recovered. More than 1,800 people have died. Quebec topping 20,000. Ontario over 11,700. BC has over 1,700 cases. Are Canadians giving up on summer in the wake of COVID-19? Courtney Theriault shares some insightful survey results.
More than half of Canadians conceding that the summer is not going to be how they envisioned it.
More Canadians appear to be setting their sights on fall, according to a new research company survey. 54% expect that it will be at least 3 months before their community returns to normal. But some regions are still wearing rose-colored sunglasses.
In Quebec and in Ontario, who say, 1/3 of them who are essentially expecting their summer to begin earlier. And when you look at Western Canada, we tend to be more realistic and say, look, this is something that is going to take longer than we expected.
The extended pandemic also seems to have some Canadians loosening their anti-vaccine stance. More seem inclined to use a COVID protection than a seasonal flu shot.
And we had about 30% of Canadians who said, I don't want to take any seasonal vaccines. That number is down to around 17%, and only 5% who say they will definitely not take a vaccine to fight against COVID-19.
That said, our adoption of certain health practices remains mixed. 1 in 7 Canadians is wearing a mask outside, but that jumps to 1 in 5 in BC.
Richmond is more than half of those who live there are of Chinese descent, and we started to watch the masks even before COVID-19 became a pandemic.
And when it comes to our food, Canadians are using much more caution.
We have almost half of Canadians saying that they're disinfecting their groceries, whether they get to buy them or somebody brings them for them. 40% who say that they're not ordering out of restaurants at all because they fear infection.
And while many of us have only recently adopted these practices, 2/3 of us expect that we'll be keeping them as part of our regular routine once the pandemic subsides.
65% of Canadians who say that they expect both companies and people to maintain their hygiene standards that have been acquired after COVID-19.
In Edmonton, Courtney Theriault, City News.